German soldiers used food as Israel does, like bait. They offered 3 kilos of bread and 1 kilogram of marmalade to lure desperate families in the Warsaw Ghetto onto the transports to the death camps. There were times when hundreds of people had to wait in line for several days to be deported, Marek Edelman writes in the Ghetto Fights. The number of people anxious to obtain the 3 kilograms of bread was such that the transports now leaving twice daily with 12,000 people could not accommodate them all. And the crowds became unruly as in Gaza. The German troops fired deadly volleys that ripped through the emaciated husks of women, children, and the elderly. This tactic is as old as warfare itself. Israel methodically set out from the beginning of the genocide to destroy sources of food, bombing bakeries, and blocking food shipments into Gaza. The nightmarish journey to one of the 4 aid hubs set up by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation was never designed to meet the needs of the Palestinians, who once relied on 400 UN aid distribution sites, but to lure them from northern Gaza to the south. Palestinians were herded like livestock into narrow metal chutes at distribution points overseen by heavily armed mercenaries. They received, if they were one of the fortunate few, a small box of food, but most received nothing. And when crowds became unruly in the chaotic scramble, the Israelis and mercenaries gunned them down, killing 1,700 and injuring thousands more. Avi Cesar, in Discourse on Colonialism, writes that Hitler seemed exceptionally cruel only because he presided over the humiliation of the white man, applying to Europe the colonialist procedures which until then had been reserved exclusively for the Arabs of Africa, the coolies of India. The near annihilation of Tasmania's Aboriginal population, the German slaughter of the Herero and Amakwa, the Armenian genocide, the Bengal famine in 1943, then British Prime Minister Winston Churchill airily dismissed the deaths of 3 million Indians in the famine by calling them, quote, a beastly people with a beastly religion, along with the dropping of nuclear bombs on the civilian targets of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, illustrates something fundamental about Western civilization. The moral philosophers who make up the Western canon, Immanuel Kant, Voltaire, David Hume, John Stuart Mill, and John Locke, excluded enslaved and exploited people, indigenous peoples, colonized people, women of all races, and the criminalized from their moral calculus. In their eyes, European whiteness alone imparted modernity, moral virtue, judgment, and freedom. This racist definition of personhood played a central role in justifying colonialism, slavery, the genocide of Native Americans and First Nations people in Australia, as well as our own imperial projects and fetish for white supremacy. So when you hear that the Western canon is an imperative, ask yourself,